There's a lot of people who don't know that we here at Timcast produce music. In fact, 4 out of 5 songs we've released have charted on Billboard, despite the fact they seem to be, in almost every way, stopping us from doing so. Now, I say seem to be, but I don't know. There's a conspiracy. A lot of people say conspiracy, but I can tell you this. It's all one big game. I think the whole thing's rigged. Ask Tom McDonald. I'll tell you, I watched his video. Tom McDonald, for those that aren't familiar, is a famous rapper who constantly drops hit after hit after hit. For some reason, he just doesn't make the charts. Sometimes he does. I'm not saying he doesn't. But there was one issue where he talked about how he put out an album and they claimed they weren't going to track his sales. They didn't believe him or something like that. Let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. We here at Timcast produce music. We have a label called Trash House Records. We recently announced that we'll be signing James O'Keefe. And James is super excited. We're going to be working with him. The songs are top level, full production, full high-end quality. The music videos are some of the highest quality you can make. And you don't have to like the songs. I'm not saying we make the greatest music ever. It's art. It's hard to judge. But we've put out 5 songs, 4 of which have charted. And pretty well, too. We reached like number 2 in sales. Well, we put out a song on December 15th called Together Again. It was a cover, a modern version as a spoof of Smokey Mike and the God King, also known as Jeremy Boring and Michael Knowles. You maybe know him. They wrote a song, and I'll tell you the story, and I'll tell you where we currently are. But first, so I don't bury the lead, we got the Billboard numbers, and something seemed wrong. This is the biggest release we've ever had. I believe on YouTube Music, we're looking at 8.8 million plays in our first week. Granted, it's not the same as your traditional music market because we're not on playlists. So when we get when we release a song, it gets a ton of plays. It's typically because everybody wants to listen right away. It's more of a cultural issue. Whereas most other bands will get some degree of extended play because they're on playlists. We are not. So it is different. And I want to make sure I'll be very transparent about how this all works. This is our biggest release yet. And based on the numbers that we were looking at, I was like, I think we might actually hit the Hot 100, which is like the list of lists. And maybe not, I don't know, it's not super easy to just do. But at least maybe the Global 200. These are the big lists every week of the songs. At the very least, Together Again, we expected to hit multiple charts. Because it's like, I think it's pop, R&B, synth, alternative or whatever, dance, a bunch of different genres, as well as sales. We reached number 1 on iTunes the first day the song comes out. I know how many sales we had. We beat everybody. We beat the Christmas music. We beat Mariah Carey that day. We shifted our sales to something called a storefront direct to customer, and we're told, yes, this is all tracked. You're good. As it turns out, we're being told, whoopsie, they don't actually track those numbers. Sorry, guys. You were for some reason misinformed. I wonder why they would do that. I wonder why it is this company would tell you this is how we track sales. And then after everything's done, go, oh, yeah, whoops, sorry about that. Perhaps incompetence. Never attribute to malice that which can be easily explained by incompetence. And so we're going to have to go through our numbers and our expenses and figure out who's responsible for why we were told numerous times that everything we were doing is above board. Here's how it kind of feels. It feels like we know we are storming the gates, and we ask you all to support us as we do. And then what happens is these guys are sitting behind the scenes going, dude, they have the influence and the power to hit the charts in significant ways. Why? Well, we've done it 4 out of 5 times. 4 out of 5. And I'll tell you, the only reason our 4th release did not chart is because we released it quietly, intentionally, for several reasons, political and also analytical. Basically, with the song Bright Eyes we put out, I realized not every song we do is going to be a single that we make a music video for and release. We made a very simple video, us playing in the new building, in our new studio, which is under construction. And then I released it and just kind of let it go. Didn't do any marketing at all because I wanted to see purely we release it quietly. What's the reach? And I think 313,000 on YouTube. And I think Spotify is something like 60 or 70,000. That is organic, no marketing. When I talk about marketing, I'm also talking about me going on my shows where I have my influence and talking about it and asking. Like, that's what marketing is, but also paid marketing. This was the organic reach of a song if we do nothing. And it's pretty good. For a new artist who put out their fourth song, it's pretty good. It would have charted if we actually did marketing like we do for everything else, but we need a relative base point where it's like, here's what we can reach when we do no kind of distribution. Here's what we can reach when we actually actively promote. I think it's fairly obvious why Together Again is our biggest release ever. The Daily Wire being involved, shout out to Michael Knowles and Jeremy Boring. They also were talking about the song and saying you guys should support the music. With that extra push, 8.8 million views and a good amount of sales. I'm going to keep some of the information close to the chest for now because there may be some legal action pertaining to what's going on. I got news. I'm on vacation from Carter Banks, who's the music producer, and he says, here's our numbers. And I say, this is clearly a mistake. Number 6, we hit number 1 on Friday on iTunes. And I know what our numbers were. So this must be a week lag or something. Maybe because of the holidays, we're going to get the information out in the next week or so. Sure enough, we get confirmation from the guys over at Billboard who it seems like they were working really hard to help us. And they were like, no, these are the numbers. That's it. And I'm just like, wait, hold on. We release Only Ever Wanted. Together Again has double the sales of Only Ever Wanted, our first song. Only Ever Wanted was number 2 in sales. Only Ever Wanted charted across the board on a bunch of different charts, rock, hot rock, and alternative, etc. So you mean to tell me that our biggest release ever didn't chart? Something's not right. Something didn't get reported properly. Somebody's playing games. It may be that the trick that we endure was just to rip us off. That we're told by this company like, hey, use us. Don't worry. We'll make sure everything's reported properly. And what their real concern is not political. I don't know that it could be total incompetence. I think incompetence is likely at play here, but I don't know for sure. So we'll see. But anyway, I get these numbers and I'm like, something's not right. We hit number 6. No, to be fair. Number 6. Still really good. We released a song and we charted. We hit emerging artist number 9 and number 6. And we even get these, like this video right here is the Billboard top 10 digital song sales. I think we would have been number 1. I think based on our numbers, we would have been the number 1 song for the week. We would have charted across the board, probably number 1 on a bunch of different charts. And I think it's possible we would have hit Hot 100 or the Global 200. And we didn't. Because apparently somewhere along the line, we were lied to. Now, many of you probably think it's political. It may be. I don't know. And, I'm talking with the team as we're getting the information because it's now, we got this information a week or so ago. And I was like trying to figure, it's also the holiday, so I wasn't here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm telling the guys like, look, if what we were told at first was, guys, it's Christmas. You're not going to beat Mariah Carey. You're not going to beat the classics. So this is where you ended up. And I'm like, well, fair point. We are behind Mariah Carey. All I want from Christmas is you. I guess, we weren't going to beat her. The only thing is we did on December 15th. When we initially launched the song, we said, hey, buy the song on iTunes and Amazon. And then we launched a storefront, shifting where the sales were going to, which apparently did not actually track sales, despite the fact it was confirmed to us by everybody that was going to be the case. And so I will say shame on us, but we shouldn't have to go through iTunes and Amazon. Part of the issue was a lot of people being like, I don't want to use those services. And we're like, you're right. We're going to use a separate service and host our own page so that we don't have to go through these big tech conglomerates. But that's the game, isn't it? If you do your sales through Apple and Amazon, you're good as gold, baby. But if you step outside their platforms, whoops, we didn't track your sales properly. That's the game, isn't it? So apparently some kind of change happened in the middle of the year and they just stopped tracking certain sales. And they claim it's like storefronts, what I'm hearing right now, and there's a lot to go through. Storefronts, we're not just tracking those anymore. It's a change we made. And then we ask, what about this storefront? Oh, well, of course we're tracking that storefront. Sure. We got booted from Bandcamp for no reason after, what was it? I think it was, it might have been when we released Genocide. which charted. You see, I got to tell you, my friends, I think it'd be naive not to assume malfeasance and dirty play here. I don't know for sure. It may be pure incompetence. Fine. Either way, someone's responsible, because we did a big marketing campaign for this one, and so did the Daily Wire. And if we got bad information, someone's got to be responsible for why we were misled, which negatively impacted the results we were going for in our marketing campaign. But I got to tell you, the one we've talked about how they desperately try to gatekeep and control the industry. Is there a possibility that we 4 to 5 songs charting? How many new artists can make that claim? How many record labels can make that claim? How many artists get investment from these labels and their songs don't make it? My friends, with your support buying our music, and we've got new stuff coming out. James O'Keefe is going to have a song, and we're storming the gates, baby. We learn from our mistakes, but we're shoring up our defenses. We will do everything to make sure that James O'Keefe, when he gets that song out, it's going to be ubiquitous. It's going to chart everywhere. And that it may not be the next release. We have 2 songs that are currently done. And one's the one with Ian doing the body transformation thing. I mean, literally, Ian was working out like crazy. And another song we may not do a music video for, but we're going to immediately start working on one of James O'Keefe's songs, because he's a musician, singer, dancer, DJ. And we're going to start building culture. And we're going to push back. I think there's a strong possibility that there are people who don't like what we do, and they know it. And so all they have to do is throw a stick in the spokes of our bike, and we go flipping over. But we're going to get back up. We're going to get in that bike, and we're going to keep riding. A strong possibility that the reason we were assured over and over and over again, don't worry, all your numbers are being tracked properly, was because once the week was over, there was nothing we could do about it. And all they have to do is go, whoopsie. Now, however, that being said, I will not take this lying down. We are going to investigate how it is that we were misled and why we were misled, and we were being told that our sales numbers were being tracked properly. And let this be said, try as they might, or perhaps as incompetent as they may be. I don't know. We're going to figure this one out. Together Again still made it number 6. I'll take it. We hit the top 10 in sales. And even though they discounted something like 80% of the sales, they still could not stop us. So we're coming for all of you. The gatekeepers, the elitists, the corrupt. We are going to keep building culture. And you can play these games with our numbers, but you cannot stop a tidal wave. So when they say, oh, whoops, we didn't track your numbers. Well, there are certain things there's nothing you can do about. And we will crash through that gate because you can't stop us. I'm really looking forward to James O'Keefe's song, Oh Baby. We're going to work on this song with James, and I hope it hits number 1. I hope James O'Keefe drops this song, and it is Rich Men North of Richmond times 10. Let's get it, baby. We've got the money. We've got the production. We've got the support. We've got the influence and the network, but they are just standing at those gates. It's fascinating, isn't it? That with everything we put forward, I was really surprised because I'm like, with teaming up with Jeremy Boring and the Daily Wire crew, there's no way they can stop us. And they couldn't. I was right. Something happened. Perhaps they tried. Perhaps it was incompetence. Fair point. We still hit number 6. Look at that. Together Again by Smokey Mike and the God King, covered by Timcast, is now a Billboard charting song. So try as they might. They ain't stopping us. Tom McDonald talks about this, man. He talked about the wacky games they play in the reporting. But let me just tell you, we'll adapt. We will adapt. And we're going to figure out the rules. Let me stress this. Final thoughts. As soon as we launch the song, we are in communication with these companies that do the tracking on it. And we are saying, here's what's happening. And they're like, okay, we got it. And we're like, we want to make sure we're doing everything right. And they said, yeah, we got it. When we released Only Ever Wanted, they did not track our YouTube plays. Total BS. And we still smashed onto the charts. I firmly believe that, look, I think it's every time we put out a song, there's been some weird thing where they're like, oh, whoopsie. They keep doing it. I shouldn't say they keep doing it. It's different people. But it keeps happening for some reason. The first time I'm like, I'll chalk it up to inexperience. Then we start getting consultation from these big label guys. Then all of a sudden it's like, some weird thing happened with that one. Yeah. I think it's a combination of incompetence and dirty play. We'll see. But I'm not taking this one sitting down because this is war. This is culture war. And we're winning. Number 6. I'll take it. Number 9, emerging artists. We're on those charts every time, despite the mistakes they're making. Look, some of these songs that are on these charts, they get like 1 million. We got substantially more than that. Okay. I want to clarify. We got 8.8 million plays. Many of them are paid marketing because we're actually marketing the song. A combination of different kinds of marketing. And those don't count towards Billboard. But when you buy the song and a large portion of the streams, yes, do count. They count these things in different ways. Now, I know we're not going to win a battle of streams. The reason is a lot of these songs get released and they get put on the default playlists. So if you turn the app on and press play, the song plays even if you never heard of the artist. That's placement. We can't compete. But with your help, we have a large enough network of sales to absolutely decimate the mainstream industry. And we'll win. So we're going to get another song ready, which should be soon. This one is called Eyes of Advice. And I don't know if these songs they're not pop songs. You know what I mean? It's just music we made. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't. But all that really matters is we say this, buy our music. Okay? You can go on iTunes. You can buy any one of our songs. Support our work. Because we're building culture. Green Day recently said they're not part of a MAGA agenda. And they got roasted for it. And the media was like, whinging conservatives. That song, American Idiot, was the first time Green Day hit the Hot 100. And it was a song that was overtly political. That's the name of the game. The game is not whether or not you think the song is the best song in the world. The game is, do you have the influence to command? These big industries, for the longest time, have controlled influence. They'll take an artist, they'll prop them up, put them front and center, main stage, on the playlists, on the radio, because they have that influence. And then people are like, I've heard that song before. Well, why did you hear that song? Placement. We don't have that luxury. We're the outsiders. We have the luxury of the influence of our network. They play the same game. Taylor Swift has a song where she makes fun of right-wingers and people who are critical of LGBT stuff. It's called, You Need to Calm Down or whatever is the name of the song. Obvious political. And she says, why are you so mad when you could be glad? A political organization. They use this stuff to get sales. We don't even do that. But you know what? Maybe we should. All right. I absolutely said for this song, let's storm the gates. Let's play this game. You know what I think it is? Part of it may be. Together Again was written by Jeremy Boring and Michael Knowles. I think it might have been Jeremy Boring. I don't know who gets writing credit. Because the mainstream music industry rejected Jeremy Boring's attempt to play a classic hit one time. So he wrote this mocking him. Could you imagine if this song really did shatter the records and break in onto the charts in a huge way? So it made the charts. I'll take it. But it should have been higher. I don't think that any of these people working in the industry would be happy to see a song like this succeed. So we're not done yet. We'll see how it goes. The new song's coming out soon. Thank you all for your support, and I'll see you all at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL for the next show.